Hello and welcome to Game Token Watch with me, Jon Jordan. So, in Game Token Watch, we look at blockchain game and blockchain game projects, and we look at what's happened to their tokens. So, effectively, they're cryptocurrencies. I prefer the term tokens because cryptocurrency has different meanings, doesn't it? Different definitions. Anyway, this is a roundup of the year. Uh, I've been looking at these throughout 2018. So we can see here, it looks a bit intimidating, this graph. But basically, what is here are 33 blockchain game or blockchain game project tokens. This is their value against the dollar during the year. So there's 33 tokens here. I've actually put in there's actually 35 bars here because I've put in Bitcoin and Ethereum for comparative purposes. I should also point out that some of these tokens, particularly two of them, became available kind of liquid very late in the year. And actually, the majority of these tokens weren't kind of available throughout 2018. So a lot of them kind of became available during the year. So um, less than half of these were tokens that were trading, if you put it that way, at the start of 2018. Um, but we'll just go through. I mean, the broad headline, I guess, something we shouldn't be very surprised about. The broad headline is a massive destruction of value during the year. I'm kind of laughing. Um, is it funny? No, it's not really funny, but equally, it's kind of we look back and I guess we see no surprise. So at the start of the year, start of 2017, we saw the kind of the peak of the whole cryptocurrency boom. This time round, there's been quite a few booms over the years. Certainly in terms of Bitcoin, which has been around for 10 years now. And it's probably worth looking at that. So we can see here Bitcoin's down almost 75% on the year. So it kind of started the year about $19,000. Ethereum, even worse. So Ethereum was down over 80%. And we can see here the 33 game tokens that I've been tracking. I mean, some are obviously much larger than others. All of them lost at least 50% of their value, with the exception of Plat. So Plat's the one at the top. Plat only lost about 11% of its value, but it only really became traded kind of in the last 2 weeks of December. Um, so, you know, it's kind of an outlier from that point of view. Um, Only 7 games lost less than 75%. Only 7 game tokens, lost less than 75%. So the vast majority lost more than 75% of their value, which is pretty. I was going to say depressing. It's not really depressing. It's a pretty strong trend that I would say really at the moment none of these games or projects found any kind of usable audience, found any utility, if we're still using the word utility these days. In a sense, none of them were successful in any regard. And some of these, you say probably a lot of these projects are if not operationally dead. That may happen quite soon. So this, for someone who spends their time looking at blockchain game sector, is not surprising, but equally, a stark fact we have to deal with. We can't just kind of jump around and say, well, 2018 was a great year for blockchain, and everything will bounce back in 2019. Some things I'm still pretty kind of guardedly optimistic about 2019. But in terms of these projects, most of these started in 2017, some 2018. Most of these projects had the stamp of failure on them, really. Certainly, when you get down the bottom, when you've got some of these tokens that have lost, 99%, 95% of their value. And some of them are actually are reasonable projects that are doing reasonable things, but we have to say it's going to be difficult for a lot of those projects to kind of get anywhere. And there's some interesting kind of examples down there. Even so, there's something I like, kind of Wax. Wax has been quite successful in terms of a blockchain-based kind of loot box gambling mechanic. Could argue whether it needs to be on the blockchain or not, I suppose, but it's it's a stepping stone for Wax to do something a bit more ambitious. But even Wax is down over 97% over the year. So yeah, not great. You see the average performance across the 33 tokens was minus 84%. So, but if we look at the top, we can see that there were some that didn't do quite so badly. If we are looking for those kind of small positives, as I say, Plat, which is the token of the BitGuild game platform, was only down 11%, but it was only trading really for about 2 weeks. Plat's interesting. They did a Ethereum ICO. Plat is an ERC20 token, but BitGuild itself is moving to Tron, so it's kind of a bit uncertain about quite what value Plat will have in the future. There are plans to use it in a specific way, but it's not what they originally planned. The interesting one, I guess, is MGO. So that's Mobile Go. The token lost 51% of its value over 2018, although it had an incredible it had an incredible Q4 where actually it increased its value by almost 180%. So something interesting going on there. The thing I don't really know about Mobile Go is quite what on earth their model is, which is for me is always a bit of a warning sign. So nothing to do with mobile games at all. It's a more of a kind of an esport tournament type platform, but kind of shrouded in mystery on that. So I'm not going to comment on that one any further. Loom is an interesting project. So Loom, they are making games, but they are basically a Ethereum sidechain technology. So sidechains are very in vogue at the moment. So particularly for games where you can put a lot of your functionality that doesn't actually need to be on the main Ethereum net or the Ethereum mainnet. You can run that quickly on a sidechain, so it provides much more scalability and flexibility. So Loom still down over 50%, but you can see much relatively didn't do so badly. I'm laughing because we have to be a little bit careful about this kind of stuff. Loom is a proper project with proper financing and proper usage cases, so it's still lost 50%. Partly, obviously, you can see Bitcoin, which still has an incredible following, an incredible kind of you can say institutionalized support, not necessarily institutionalized support, but incredible community support that's very deep. That was down almost 75%. So I guess that's the context that I'm putting it in, which makes it amusing for me. Next to Loom was Mana. So Mana is the token of Decentraland. Decentraland, again, very interesting project. It is a user-generated content platform. Again, very strong community focus. It's not really a game platform, but will have games within it. It's more like a second life on the blockchain sort of thing. Decentraland's gone through a few of its land sales, so it sells kind of parcels of land out. So it just finished one of those in December. So those are projects. Certainly Loom and Mana are two projects I think are interesting. Whether, as I say, no one should be investing in these kind of projects for financial gain, because we can just see, that you did well not to lose 75% of your money this year. But I like Loom and Mana. Zilliqa is another kind of sidechain type thing, a bit like Loom, a bit different to Loom as well, but not game specific. So it's more of a generalized blockchain, but I put it in because some games are using it. And then next to Zilliqa is Chi, which is the token of the Zaya blockchain. Again, I put on an asterisk with Chi because, like Plat, it only became kind of tradable in the last kind of couple of weeks of December. So it was, it's kind of hard to say that it kind of performed particularly well in comparison because it was only available for a few weeks. And then the only other game token that did kind of better than Bitcoin was DMarket. DMarket is similar to Wax in a way. It is or plans to be a blockchain-based game item marketplace. Again, it's still quite early stages for that. I'm not quite sure. I've got much to comment on how it relatively did okay. And then beneath those, there's other projects that I like actually: Referium, Theta, and Engine Coin. So those were all the ones that did better than Ethereum. Beneath that, there are some interesting projects, but I think when you get into the stage of people losing 80% of their value, you just have to take a step back. So there we go. I did kind of expect when I started this project at the start of 2018 that this would not be the outcome for the end of the year. I guess in terms of the intellectual exercise, Q Q1 2019, you kind of, in some degree, can't be any worse. Obviously, it can be worse. You can still lose, no matter what value you are, you can still lose 50%, 100% of your value. Not 100%, 99%. But we shall see. Certainly, I kind of think there are still some of these projects that will find scale. I guess there is the wider issue, really, which I don't go into, which is some of these projects could be successful. Well, how that is reflected in their token value is, in most cases, unclear. So that could be the interesting issue. I think so. In 2019, we'll see a lot of projects that previously required people to use their own token to access those services will probably just move to fiat, and potentially these tokens will kind of become valueless, even though the projects themselves could be actually relatively or even very successful. So that's the interesting kind of decoupling that we'll probably, or that we'll be looking out for in 2019. So that's the takeaway. Just because these tokens have done really badly doesn't mean that the projects are doing really badly, and just because the project is doing really well doesn't necessarily mean that the tokens are going to do well. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe in this channel. Basically, what I'm looking at is blockchain game projects and blockchain games and their tokens, and seeing if any value can be reflected in that. So that's really what I'm looking to do. So if you're interested in that in any respect, please do subscribe. But thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.